thing. I want you to take 30 seconds and think about where your food comes from. And he said that will begin to change how you see your food. It will begin to change where you put your money. He said.
All right, guys, Six Forks Farm here, and today is field trip day. So let me tell you where we're at. We are at a baseball field in McKinney, or what used to be a baseball field, and it's been converted to a farm. And it's done by the Seed Project Foundation here in McKinney, and it's headed up by Rick from Rick's Chop House. And this particular farm here is food being grown for like the underprivileged people, the shelters and things like that. So it's a nonprofit organization, but it also is involved in the schools and getting the schools and the kids out here and teaching them where the food comes from and that kind of thing. And at some point, I think that they want to get large enough to be able to provide food for the schools for people who aren't able to afford the food at school. So where I am here is wandering around at what would be home plate, and behind me here, well, let me just show you. We have here what is their compost piles that they get. They go around from restaurants and get their old food and trash, and not really trash, but food that is trash, and use that for composting. Out there in what would be center field is the chickens that are scratching up the plot out there, and they're going to section that off at some point. The chickens are really good preparers of the soil. Their manure is like gold, not at first because it's too much nitrogen in it, but as it sits, it's really good for the soil, and that's why they're out there tilling that up. So we have carrots down what would be third baseline. You can see the dugouts are being used for either farm sheds on both sides. And Lindsay and I had the opportunity here a few minutes ago to have a carrot that was out of the ground for only minutes, actually seconds, from this crop right here. Washed it off over in the little hose over there. And so this is what this looks like. On this tour, we've got two more stops, two more farms to see, and there'll be chef prepared meal from the things on each farm, which we're going to participate here in a second. And I want to kind of share this along with you on the way. So all right, guys, stop 2, Profound Microgreens. Some of the coolest stuff I've ever eaten through this tour. I try to take some pictures and a few video for you so you can see what's inside.
Which is actually the first system we built when we built the farm 7 years ago. And has anybody ever heard of an aquaponic system? Yep, we got a couple of them. So those of you who haven't heard of aquaponics is when you combine hydroponics, which is growing plants in water, with aquaculture, which is raising fish. So in this system, we've got fish tanks over here full of koi and tilapia and goldfish, and we just feed them organic feed. That turns into the waste, right? So the fish poop. That's the fertilizer for the plants, and then the plants clean the water out and take all that fertilizer, which is toxic for the fish, and then sends it back up to the top. So it's a closed loop ecosystem. Quick, as you're walking by, you can take a look at our neighbor's property. This is Forest Grove Nursery. Kenneth has been a grower for 30 years, and he's actually one of the main suppliers for the Dallas Arboretum. So if you've been to the Arboretum and seen color there before, most of that starts right here on his farm. And then right now, it's poinsettia season right now. So on our way back, when you walk back by, look in the door. He's got one little glass door you can see in the side. You'll see just a sea of red. He's got 20,000 poinsettia plants in there. It's absolutely beautiful.
All right, guys, stop 3, Rick Wells' house. What an amazing place here. I want to show you his setup. He's got a moat that goes around his garden here, and that's for drainage. I guess, you know, the water that comes up from that way and all the way through the garden to avoid drainage. Down in the other end, there's a culvert that directs water out into the lake back there, so you can see he's got a really cool setup here. So most of the flowers here in his garden, it's some vegetables, but mostly flowers. Now these flowers, they get distributed to 2 of his restaurants and 1 of his hotels. So everything on his property he claims, even the stuff up here at the house around his flower beds, gets distributed to a vase somewhere in 1 of his either restaurants or hotel, which is really interesting. So there you have it, folks. Busy day, 3 farms, lots of inspiration, lots of things to see. And I wish I would have taken more time to show you some of the things that we saw, some of the things that we tasted, like the wasabi arugula, which, you know, when you put it in your mouth, tasted just like arugula, and you wait for it, right at the end, tasted like exactly like wasabi, and some of the other herbs and other things we got to eat. And so instead I took more time to you know, pay attention myself and really be engaged. And so I wish I would have done that a little different so I could share with you, but this is what we have. And I think Lindsay's got some good takeaway. Let's hear what she has.
So yeah, today was great. Very informative, very inspiring. Great to see people who are living the regenerative farming lifestyle. We have decided to grow our farm here and become growers and producers ourselves. And so that was great research and development. One huge takeaway that I got from today was Rick Wells, who is the founder of the Seed Project, who sponsored where we were today, said that he wants us to take 30 seconds. He said, please, when you leave here today, take 30 seconds. And when you are about to eat or when you are about to consume something, to think about where that food has come from. And that will begin to change how you see food, to really think about what you're consuming, and then that will help aid you to support your local farmers and to support the people who are in your community. Supporting our community, supporting local will only make us stronger as a community. And so I just thought that was a great idea and a great reminder for us all to be more cognizant of where our food comes from.